Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is Full Time Devils, and Manchester United are through to the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup, and we made it look pretty simple, didn't we? We had a pretty basic look inside, we had a team that was refreshed, a team that was rotated, and we made it look easy, and I don't think you can ask for more than that. There was a couple of things that I wanted to see from Manchester United in this game. The two things, specifically the two things, was a win, to bounce back after what happened at Huddersfield. The second thing was that I wanted to be seeing Axel Tuanzebe, and we saw that, and he was absolutely fantastic. And I think he's possibly in with a shout for getting man of the match. I think Jesse Lingard's probably going to get it after getting 2 goals, who I thought was also fantastic. But it was a pleasing performance from Manchester United, showing Jose Mourinho that he can actually use a rotated squad, because I was worried that he was going to play a strong spine in this one. He was going to play Matic, he was going to play Lukaku, he was going to play David De Gea, but he didn't do that, and he rotated, and he played a team of youngsters, fringe players, and we got the job done. We are in the quarter-final. I thought he might have gone quite strong, because Jose loves this competition. It's a bigger love story than Twilight, Jose in the League Cup, isn't it? He likes to get it done, because you can get to the semi-finals like super quick, and you can get to the final really, really fast, and you can get that first competition out of the way and then concentrate as everything else is getting to the meat of the season. Can we just talk about Tuanzebe for a minute? Now, I've been watching this kid for years, and I've just been impressed with his composure, with his decision-making, with his ball-playing ability, with his tempered aggression. It's like he's extremely aggressive, but he's not out of control. It's like he's aggressive at the right time. He's ruthless is what I'm looking for. He's more put together than Bailly, in terms of, like, Bailly sometimes going to do some mad random shit, whereas Tuanzebe is like composed and calm all the time. He's absolutely rapid. He's brilliant with the ball at his feet. He doesn't mind stepping out of defence. The guy's a natural leader. And we saw with the job that he did on Sanchez that he's unruffleable. That he's happy to go and take on the biggest jobs that's required of him from Jose Mourinho and from any other manager that asks it of him. And he does it with no problem. And tonight I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And if he hasn't forced his way into contention with that performance, just the same as he did towards the back end of last season with the performance against Sanchez, then Jose Mourinho needs to have a good long hard look in the mirror at what he's trying to do at this football club. Because that's the sort of player, that is the sort of youth prospect, that is the sort of thing that we want to see coming through Manchester United ranks. And that was fantastic. Now, a lot of you in the comments here are actually talking about it being a 3-5-2. I actually thought it was 3-4-1-2. I thought Jesse Lingard was not necessarily a forward, not necessarily part of the midfield on any sort of same level as McTominay and that. So I thought he was sort of operating on his own. So I do think it was 3-4-1-2. And I thought that suited us. There was so much space in that final third, which I thought we could have exploited a little bit better than we actually did. But to be fair, Jesse Lingard was operating, buzzing in between the attack and in between that midfield. Oh, someone's talking about City in the comments. Someone, if you know the City score, let's bang it in the comments. I've not seen it myself. I believe it kicked off late, so maybe it's still going. I just thought it was an overall pretty good performance from United. Now, on the flip side of that, Swansea offered us nothing. I think Swansea looked like they're in trouble, or maybe they just didn't care about this competition and literally just phoned it in tonight. That's also possible, and let's not get carried away with ourselves, because we have got an unbelievably stern test at Old Trafford against Spurs at weekend. And I still think there's things that we need to change, there's things that we need to do better, there's things that we need to have in place to have a chance of beating Spurs at the weekend. And I think one of those things is it's 0-0. Everyone's saying 0-0. Okay, thank you. One of those things that I think we need an extra midfielder. We got Herrera, we got Matic. Is McTominay the guy to come in against Spurs? I'm not sure. Is Tuanzebe just from a pure defensive point of view and put him on Ali or Ericsson? I'm not sure. Maybe, but I'm not sure. It was good to see Shaw getting some minutes. It was great to see Jesse Lingard getting on the score sheet. There's a few people on Twitter complaining about the fact that he celebrates with stupid dances. Do you know what? I don't care, man. Think about this. Think about when he celebrates. He celebrates after he scored a goal. Are you actually complaining about what anybody does when they score a goal? I don't care what you do when you score a goal. It's fair game as far as I'm concerned. He just scored a goal. So, whatever, man. I thought it was another mediocre night for Smalling and Lindelof. Damian I thought did okay. Blind I thought did okay. There's a couple of people saying Wolves have scored. I don't think that's the case, but I'm going to just check on live score while we're online, because that would be interesting, because then the press is going to have to make up a whole new narrative. Let's find it. England. Can't find Carabao Cup. 0-0 90th minute. So it's still 0-0. We are in the 89th minute, so obviously it's still 0-0. Let's see what you guys are now saying in the comments then. Let's read some of these comments out. Should I give Shaw more minutes? Well, Shaw hasn't looked great in the under-23s, to be fair to him, so just introducing him back at this level for a few minutes I think is fine. Alex O'Donnell says Tuanzebe was outstanding, so pacey and intelligent on the ball. Yeah, that's something that I think you've really got to look at. He's so mature for his age. He's so calm and collected and unpanicked and about how he plays the game, that I think that you can throw him in a little bit earlier because of that maturity that he offers. Oh yeah, man, I nearly forgot about Sergio Romero. Sergio Romero's cruising in on like 2/3 clean sheets for Manchester United, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, yes, he does play in this sort of game. He does play in League Cup, in the Europa League and all that lot. But the fact of the matter is, he's got 2/3 clean sheets. Now, there is no doubt in my mind whatsoever we've got the best goalkeeper in the world. It's an absolute disgrace that David De Gea wasn't in the that top 15 goalkeepers, and Claudio Bravo was. That's an utter disgrace. Now, the fact that David De Gea wasn't even in that, I'm assuming it's just because they're going for who's second best, because he's so obviously the best. But the fact that Sergio Romero is our goalkeeper, is our backup goalkeeper, he's undoubtedly the best backup goalkeeper in the world. There's no better goalkeeper that's a backup, at least, in my eyes. He would probably be top 6 or 7 goalkeeper in the Premier League. That's how good I think he is. Lindelof should be played more, says Abu. Nitesh says Axel was mint. Saya says, don't think Smalling and Lindelof can play together in a 2. That might be a real good point, actually. Some players fit with us and some don't. Tuanzebe should start against Spurs, says Sarath. Now, that's what I was going to ask you guys in a minute. How do we line up against Spurs? Because this was a case of get the job done, move on. Not really about getting into the quarterfinal. If we'd have lost there tonight, I wouldn't have been overly bothered, to be honest, because it's not a competition I see as a priority. Now we're in the quarterfinal, it starts to become a little bit more important, doesn't it? It's out of the way. Let's park it until we have to think about it again. Saturday is a way more important game. We are going to see a stronger United out there, and hopefully a bit more lifted Manchester United out there. But I think we've got to go 4-3-3. I think we have to have an extra man in midfield, try and pack that midfield and bully them a little bit like we did last time at Old Trafford when we beat them. And I think that's something that we can do. Gary says, brilliant to see youngsters out and looking in a very good, great rotation. Yeah, I think you have to say fair play to Mourinho on this one. He rotated and he got it absolutely bang on, so fair enough. Aman says, I guess Jose will play a back 3. I'm not sure we are, to be honest. I honestly don't know. I think it might be 4-3-3. I just hope it's not 4-2-3-1, because I'm just not a fan of it. Drop Marshall says Anthony Marshall. Alright. Spurs are strong. I don't think McTominay would be good against them just yet. We might put them in for the physical presence that he offers. But yes, I would agree from a pure technical point of view. I think we've probably got better options in there, I think. Wycliffe says 4-3-3 all the way. We need a lot of pace for Spurs. Yeah, I think we've got pace in that final third and definitely got the pace to exploit them on the counter, because this will be a bit more of an open game than both teams are used to be honest. Tuanzebe at left back, says Matthew. He's actually not the most proficient as a fullback. He looks a little bit out of his depth. I'm not really a fan of seeing him at fullback. He did excellent as a defensive midfielder last season for the first team, but he's not a fullback because he's not got that attacking prowess in him at all, that natural go forward, that overlap, that cross. He's not about that. He is a pure thoroughbred defender, someone that wakes up thinking about defending. very Vidic-esque in that sense. Not as aggressive, not as wayward, not as wild, but the fact that he's just an out-and-out defender. That's what I like about Tuanzebe, that he's just all about that defending. Thoughts on Marshall last two performances, says Anthony Marshall. I think he's been okay. Like, I don't think you can expect him to tear the world apart. The nature of wingers and wide players and stuff like that is that they're pretty inconsistent, unfortunately. To get any sort of consistency out of someone in the final third is crazy. That's why when you get the likes of Lukaku scoring goal after goal after goal after goal, then that's impressive. William says, I would like to see Pereira back so we can have a backup left midfielder. It's better for him at the moment for his development to be getting games over there, I think. Love Lingard's second goal, says James. His first goal was good as well. Both goals was good, let's face it. 94 minutes gone. Looks like it's over. City and Wolves. Press won't say anything about that though. They'll say United should have scored 4 or something. 3-5-2 against Tottenham, says Yuri. Interesting to know what the midfield 3 is, because obviously the 2 of the midfield are wing backs, aren't they? So what's your midfield 3 if you're going 3-5-2? Let me know in the comments. When is Bailly back? I don't know. I think if we had Bailly back for Tottenham, I'd be so much more confident. I'm not going into this game confident in the slightest. Even if we had Fellaini back, even if we had Carrick back, if we just had one more midfielder back, as well as Bailly, I'd be really happy. When will we sign Messi? We're not. Who cares? Shaw needs playing time. He's been getting playing time in the 23s. He doesn't look great at the moment, to be honest. Do I think Pogba will be back against Spurs? No. Oh, it's extra time. All right, it's going to extra time, City. Bonus. Is Pogba coming back, says Tiana? I don't think so. Tuanzebe school Smalling. Yeah, let's go back on that, because Tuanzebe, I don't think can be emphasised enough just how good he looks at this level. He's totally unfazed by what he sees, by what we see him doing. He's so comfortable at this level, and I think because he's so comfortable, I think you have to give the guy the opportunity to play in the first team on a more regular basis, because he is going to improve as he gets games. He's going to know a little bit better about how to deal with some of the opposition. He's going to know a little bit better his place within that defensive system, and he's going to improve 10, 15, 20% even in that first year. So I'm really excited to see what can happen with Tuanzebe, but he needs games. Nobody develops without games. You've got to give the guy games. You give him games and you're going to see an unbelievable player. Let's answer a few questions and let's see what you guys reckon. Who was your man of the match? Let me know in the comments. I'll read some of your comments out, but don't just give me a name. Give me why you thought they were man of the match as well. So take you a little bit of time on this. Don't just go brrr. What's this one? How was Lindelof today, says Christopher. Didn't fill me with confidence, to be honest. Kept a clean sheet, let's be honest. Kept a clean sheet. But he didn't fill me with confidence. Aman says, Tuanzebe is better than most defenders of his age. The guy is mint. You sure we didn't play at Wembley today? Pretty sure we didn't play at Wembley today, mate. What are you talking about? Lingard to start instead of Mkhitaryan, says Sujarina. James says, missed the second half. How was our play? It flattened out a little bit in the second half, to be honest with you. I think that they didn't really fancy it, and we sort of knew it was kind of in the bag. So it wasn't the most dynamic of performances, but it didn't need to be. Zlatan is coming back, correct. Jesus, Aguero, Sterling, Gundogan, Toure can't break down Wolves. You know what I mean? Nothing will be said in the press. Lindelof is good on the ball, just needs to work on his defending, says Jerry. Are we gaining confidence back? Probably not much on the back of beating a poor Swansea side, let's be honest here now. If we beat Spurs at home convincingly, yes, then I think we could say that. Lingard should play ahead of Marshall, says Anthony Marshall. Again, I think you've got an agenda there, my friend. Darmian, because of his assist and worked his socks off, says Raf. Jesse to start over Mickey at the weekend. I wouldn't have thought so. I think that he was rested for that reason, but never know. Danny says Lingard man of the match. Superb finishing today. I think his movement was good as well in between the lines. I think he's always offering options, always got a decent decision on him. So yeah, I think he was pretty good. Rashford's flick was delicious, says Advan. Kobil says Tuanzebe man of the match. He made the second goal, played really well on the ball, calm. Tuanzebe, McTominay, this is Declan says, McTominay carried the ball well and didn't look out of place in the lineup. Yeah, you think United looked pretty decent, didn't he? Tuanzebe can maintain an attacking game. Actually, that's something that is worth noting, actually. Yeah, when you've got someone who's such a good pure defender like Tuanzebe, he can maintain an attacking game because he will snuff out whatever attack comes his way. He's quick enough to get back in position, and his defending is just so good that you know that he's going to get back and make the tackle and probably not even give away a foul. I thought the yellow card at the end was a little bit harsh. I thought it was a good tackle. Seeing the replay, it was probably a foul. It wasn't a yellow card though. Mohamed says, I hope this will improve our performance. Samart says, I don't know why people hate Lingardinho. I mean, same mate. The Lingard thing baffles me totally because no one expects the guy to be starting week in, week out. But on occasions like this, when you need to rotate, when you need to rest your first choice players, you put that guy in, he doesn't skip a beat, he tries his hardest, he gets you a goal, he gets you 2 goals, he wins you the game, and then he'll be happy to sit on the bench for the next 3 weeks. Literally, how can you get mad at that? How can you get mad at that? That is the perfect definition of a squad player, and that is exactly what Jesse Lingard is. And also, don't underestimate what being a fan of this club does when you're in that dressing room. Now, if you're just a guy that's turning up for a paycheck, and you're just a guy that turns up and you play for this club and that club, and after this one you go into that one, and you don't really care. When you're 2-0 down at half time, you sit there like this, yeah, whatever. Not going to be at the end of the season anyway, it doesn't really matter. But if you're a fan of the club, and this hurts you because you've stood on the terraces with the rest of us, then I think you can put in an extra 5%. I think you can really take that to heart. And I think that's the sort of thing that's unquantifiable. And that's why having homegrown, organic players in the squad is good for the soul of a club. And that's why City will never be Manchester United. Do I think Fosu Mensah should come back in January? No, I think he's getting a brilliant education at Crystal Palace. It's tough, but he's getting a lot of game time and that he wouldn't get at United. So I think he's getting a good education. He might not be enjoying it so much, but he's getting a great education out there. We should go for Tammy Abraham next. I'm a big fan of Tammy Abraham. Anyone who's watched me for a while knows. Big fan of him. City aren't playing. It's not a big game to them. Look, I thought they was going to win everything. Rashford needs more time up front because he ain't a winger. Yes, I would agree on that one as well. Right, I'm going to wrap it up. Makola is at the Liberty Stadium, so he'll be giving you the fan cams pretty soon. His review is going to be out very shortly as well. So make sure to stick around for all that lot. Give this a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and obviously there's going to be a load of build-up happening with Tottenham heading our way very soon, so make sure not to miss out on any of that, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.